Every day, millions of Americans stand over their kitchen trash cans performing a ritual of waste. They pull a carton of milk, a bag of spinach, or a tin of yogurt from the fridge, glance at a stamped date, and, if that date has passed by even 12 hours, toss the perfectly good food into the bin. This behavior is the result of one of the most successful legal lies in the history of the modern food industry. Contrary to popular belief, expiration dates are almost never about food safety. In the United States, there is zero federal regulation governing these dates, with the sole exception of infant formula. Instead, these stamps are part of a sophisticated marketing and inventory management system designed to protect brand reputation and accelerate the buy-throw-buy cycle. The disaster of the expiration date is twofold. Environmentally, it leads to nearly 40% of the food supply in the U.S. being wasted, rotting in landfills, and producing methane. Biologically, it has conditioned consumers to stop using their primary senses, smell, sight, and taste, to evaluate food, delegating their health decisions to a non-scientific number generated by a corporate algorithm. When a manufacturer places a best-by date on a product, they aren't telling you when the food becomes toxic. They are telling you when the product may no longer meet their peak aesthetic standards. This distinction is the difference between a thriving pantry and a wasteful one. This guide exposes the chemistry behind food shelf life and explains why your food is likely much hardier than the label suggests. The anatomy of the label, decoding the corporate language. To understand the expiration date lie, one must first decode the confusing vernacular found on packaging. Use by, sell by, best before, and enjoy by are not synonyms for toxic after. The sell-by date is actually a tool for the grocer, not the consumer. It is an inventory management signal that tells the store manager when to pull a product from the shelf to make room for newer stock. It has absolutely nothing to do with when the food goes bad in your home. In fact, most sell-by products are still peak quality for days or even weeks after the date has passed. The best if used by date is a manufacturer's subjective estimate of peak quality. This is the point where a cracker might lose 5% of its crunch or a sauce might slightly change color due to oxidation. For a brand like Heinz or Kraft, even a slight change in the visual brand experience is seen as a threat to their image, so they set the date conservatively. This encourages the consumer to throw the item away and purchase a fresh replacement, even though the nutritional value and safety of the original item remain entirely intact. By treating these quality markers as safety warnings, we participate in a manufactured cycle of consumption that serves the corporate bottom line at the expense of our own wallets and global resources. The chemistry of spoilage, pathogens versus decay. The primary reason most people fear past-date food is the dread of food poisoning. However, there is a fundamental scientific misunderstanding at play here. Food poisoning is caused by pathogenic bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli, or Listeria. These bacteria do not grow simply because a date has passed. They are the result of contamination during the slaughtering, harvesting, or processing phase. If a piece of meat is contaminated with E. coli, it will make you sick regardless of whether you eat it before or after the expiration date. These pathogens are generally odorless and tasteless, meaning the date wouldn't protect you from them anyway. On the other hand, spoilage bacteria are the ones that make food look, smell, and taste gross. These are the microbes that turn milk sour or make bread moldy. While they are unpleasant, they are generally not dangerous to healthy adults. In fact, spoilage bacteria act as a natural alarm system. Evolution has gifted humans with an incredibly sensitive nose for the off smell of decaying protein or fermented sugars. When you ignore your nose and trust a printed date, you are ignoring millions of years of biological hardware in favor of a 6-digit ink stamp. Real spoilage is a gradual process of chemical breakdown, oxidation, enzymatic browning, and microbial fermentation, none of which align perfectly with a static date on a label. Canned goods, the immortality of steel. Canned food is perhaps the greatest victim of the expiration date scam. Because the canning process involves high-heat sterilization, retorting, that kills all microorganisms and seals the food in an anaerobic environment, canned goods are practically immortal. As long as the can is not dented, rusted, or swollen, signs of botulism or seal failure. the food inside will remain safe to eat for years, and in many cases, decades. The fabled best-by date on a can of peas is merely an estimate of when the peas might start to soften or lose their vibrant green hue. Testing by the USDA on lost cans of food, some decades old, has shown that while the texture might change and some vitamins, like vitamin C, might degrade over time, the protein and mineral content remains stable and the food remains 100% sterile. The idea that a can of soup expires on a Tuesday in 2026 is a chemical absurdity. By throwing away canned goods based on dates, we are discarding one of the most stable forms of food security ever invented. For the modern prepper or budget-conscious shopper, the expiration date lie on cans is the first thing that must be unlearned. Dairy and eggs, the great fridge deception. Milk is the most common product thrown away prematurely. Most milk is pasteurized, meaning the vast majority of bacteria have been killed. If milk is kept at a consistent temperature, below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, it can easily last 5 to 7 days past its sell-by date. Even when milk spoils, it simply turns into sour milk, which is a staple in many traditional baking recipes. Unless it has developed a chunky texture or a truly putrid odor, it is likely fine to use. The date on the carton is a conservative estimate designed to ensure the consumer never experiences even a hint of tanginess. Eggs are even more resilient. In many parts of the world, eggs aren't even refrigerated. In the US, where they are washed and refrigerated, an egg can remain perfectly fresh for 3 to 5 weeks after the date on the carton. A simple float test is a scientific way to check an egg. If it sinks to the bottom of a bowl of water, it's fresh. If it stands on its end, it's older but still good for hard boiling. If it floats, the air pocket has grown too large, indicating it is likely spoiled. This 5-second test is infinitely more reliable than the printed date and could save hundreds of eggs per household every year. Dry goods and zombie foods. Items like white rice, salt, sugar, honey, and dried pasta are essentially zombie foods. They never truly die. Honey has been found in ancient Egyptian tombs, still perfectly edible after 3,000 years, because its low moisture and high acidity create an environment where bacteria cannot survive. Yet, go to any grocery store and you will see best-by dates on honey jars. This is the peak of the expiration lie. Salt is a mineral that has existed for millions of years in the earth. The idea that it expires 6 months after you buy it is a marketing masterstroke. Dried pasta and rice, if kept in a cool, dry place away from weevils, can last for 10 to 30 years. The dates on these packages are strictly for stock rotation and to encourage the consumer to refresh their pantry. When we throw away dry staples because of an arbitrary date, we are throwing away the very foundation of food stability. These items do not contain the moisture or fats necessary for rapid bacterial growth or rancidity. Understanding that these foods are effectively permanent allows you to shop the sales and build a forever pantry without fear of the expiration monster. Reclaiming your senses. The expiration date lie persists because it preys on our fear of the invisible. We have been taught to fear the microbe so much that we trust a corporate inkjet printer more than our own eyes and noses. This disconnect from our food has significant consequences for our autonomy and our environment. By reclaiming the ability to judge food quality through our senses, we stop being passive victims of a wasteful marketing cycle and start becoming conscious, informed consumers. The next time you see a best-by date that has passed, remember, it is a suggestion, not a law. Perform the look, smell, taste test. If the milk smells sweet, if the bread has no green spots, and if the can is intact, your food is still a source of life, not a source of danger. We must break the habit of the automatic toss and return to a more traditional, sensible relationship with our pantry. The truth is that food is much more durable than the industry wants you to believe.